Choose your character.
Give me a minute. I gotta put my thoughts together because I do this without a script. So, get my thoughts together because I'm not good at this. I do get my points across, but they're kind of scattered and all over the place. It's kind of hard to shove it all coherently. Oh, yes. Also, I need to take my meds before I forget. Again. For how long is debatable. For what I'm seeing, Multiversus is like a candle burning at both ends that I threw into a goddamn volcano. An active one. Not only are they gonna melt fast and burn out, but it might end up horribly.
Prepare yourself!
They need to do a lot of work, yes. But the problem with their work is they're listening a little too much to the player base sometimes. And they're looking too much into it competitively. You can't balance your game based off competitive. It doesn't work.
Man, I don't think Batman's gonna appreciate us breaking in.
That's okay. I think I gotta stop my... Gotta pause that. Yeah, I had something downloading.
Just for you.
Because every time I see that anytime someone wins any stupid competitive bullshit, they try to nerf it based off that. Granted, some things do need to be tweaked and changed. Because, sorry about that, I get quiet when I'm trying to focus. But the game's great. We're already in the good old days for some reason. Because this game does need tweaking. Like, people are right about the hitbox issues, the connection server issues, and the balancing. Some people are right, but some people just bitch because their character can't just dominate like they want it to. So they want to nerf everybody else to make sure that their character is the only character, and there's other people that favor other characters. Therefore, not beneficial to anyone, really.
Wasn't my first pitch, but hey, not gonna waste this opportunity.
How do I put this? The game creators need to stop listening too much on competitive. Like, competitive will deal with whatever you give them. That's why it's competitive. Competitive is like, okay, this is what we gotta work with. You work with it. Where casuals is where you want to balance it so everyone can play with those characters sort of on a fair balance level, but with how do I put this? Overwatch has shown us that the more characters you add, the harder it's going to be to balance. No matter what. And since you want to put a new character every 2 goddamn weeks, means you are fucking yourself royally of ever balancing anything. in a meaningful way, actually.
Prepare
Because as soon as you
yourself.
add a new character, boom, gotta rebalance everything. Add another new character, that's another rebalancing. You cannot balance a game, ever, if you're always putting out a new character. Because I know for a fact that at the rate they're putting out characters, there's no way they can balance that character while making them easily.
Clear the way. Don't make it weird. Now we're talking.
Because even I think Superman needs a little balance with his grappling, but they shouldn't listen to me completely. They should just take a look at it and see if there should be a part, like, after he tries his grapple and it fails, he has to, you know, retouch the ground before he can do anything. Like that forward flying he does.
Match point. Blue team.
Like, spamming should always be the first priority. Potated. The candle's not gonna burn right. And since they're throwing it into a volcano to boot, they ain't gonna make it very far. Now if they were gonna make a character, balance it, and like one character per month. That's still a lot of characters, and it still would give you time to tweak and balance the character. And it would prevent
Choose
the
your
whole
character.
delay thing, where it's like, we have to push it back. And people will be like, why do you have to push it back? It's probably because it wasn't finished yet, or balanced properly. Or there was something they needed to tweak, like the hitboxes and hurt boxes. Giving themselves a little more space in between would be beneficial. But they are burning that candle with a fucking flamethrower, tossing it in a volcano as a nuke's going off. That thing ain't gonna last. That thing's gonna... Because this game could do great. They should balance it depending on how it looks like it needs to be balanced without looking at competitive. Because competitive drives casuals away. I can't stand the whole bullshit competitive meta bullshit. It's like, I hate it. Just fucking hate it. In fact, you're balancing it for about a small 1% of the player base, or less, where the casual percent is 99% of it.
Prepare yourself.
Why? Everyone else will be like, ugh, I have to play like the pros? I don't want to play like the pros. I want to play like a casual. But you gotta tell them you can't spam, though. A Tacticade needs to be buffed. That's for sure. Tacticade should be a punishment for spammers.
Stick and move, Morty.
And don't play politics with your game either. You play politics with a game, you can kill your game badly.
Match point. Blue team.
I totally get it.
They gotta stop playing any politics whatsoever. If people bitch about something that's stupid and political, they need to say, fuck you, not gonna listen to that.
Choose your character.
They need to make a stand. This is a video game, no politics are gonna be acquired into it. If you don't like Velma's police car, too bad. That's what they did in the cartoons. We're sticking to the canon of the cartoon.
You jerk-offs ready to get the answers to your burning questions?
Don't play no activist bullshit. Since activists nowadays are just bullies and terrorists. That does more harm than good to listen to them. And that's just a fact now. Sadly. Don't get involved in anything political. Don't get involved in anything activist-like. Just make a quality game and try to balance it the best you can. I would recommend you at least take into account what people have to say, but doesn't mean you have to do what they say. Because they could be wrong, but you could test things out and see if it would be better. And if it doesn't, revert it. The player base does seem to know what they're talking about overall. But a lot of people will just see that they can get people to do what they want, and they'll try to make it. Yeah, he just rely on that smash, ain't he?
Defeat.
Man, that Garnet not good. He relied way too much on the ground smash. Because attack to decay doesn't seem like it's doing what it says it does. I don't know if that's a glitch or something, because it's not decaying like it should. If it's a true attack decay, then him hitting me should have not launched me like that. It should have stayed still, right?
Choose your character.
If it was true, if it was actually working as intended. But still, as I've said, they're not going to listen to me. You're making a video game, and hopefully more people play it. But the problem is, if you just listen to people all the time, you're gonna lose part of your game. The soul's gonna drain out quick. Because as far as I can tell by playing all these characters, Wonder Woman doesn't need to be debuffed or needs to be nerfed. She's fine the way she is. Granted, the spam is frustrating, and hopefully they fix that ASAP. Because the way things are, the spam is gonna kill this game. They need to make it more punished for spammers, or else this game's gonna die, deader than a doorknob. They should think about saying, you know what, we can't do every 2 weeks with a new character. How about once a month? And people will be like, probably most people will be like, yeah, okay, seems fair enough. That's 3 new characters per season. Then be like, we can also add new maps and skins to purchase. That would be better off, because then they would make more money themselves, because it'd be with Gleamium overall.
Yourself.
For the skins and emotes and whatnot. But
Choose your character.
I mean, the roster is pretty big now, but I feel like every 2 weeks a new character coming out is gonna burn this game quick. It's gonna set it on fire, and not in a good way. Most of the devs that are creating these characters and creating all this stuff is gonna get burned out quick, where they're just like, let's just palette swap, because they're gonna be like, I can't think of nothing, I just can't do it today, kind of thing. It's like, it seems like every 2 weeks feels like the kind of thing you don't want to do to your game developers, because that feels like you're gonna overwork them. But like, we have to pull out something every 2 weeks, get to work. It's like they're gonna have to do a lot of overtime and a lot of patching and a lot of work that they don't need to be doing it. They just do it in a bigger lump and a little more time given to them. The best way I can explain that. It's like how everyone complained about games having crunch culture, but a character every 2 weeks, plus patches, plus new maps, plus new skins, plus new emotes, plus new everything else, voice lines, and it's like, that would burn out any company. It would fire them into ash. And I feel like that's what's going to happen with this game. Bugs Bunny could easily be fixed, but just by having his rocket not refixed right there, it's like, it doesn't the Bugs Bunny's rocket doesn't give you your jumps or your dodges back when you use it. And then people are like, good, I can go and just hit him off that rocket, he'll fall to his death. There's no way he can come back now.
Prepare yourself.
And then the Bugs Bunny will probably fix then. Because that's what's the biggest problem with Bugs, is he gets his jumps and dodges back for using his rocket ability. His giant rocket. That's it. That's the only problem people are seeing with Bugs right now. It's like, he's OP just because his rocket gives him back literally all his dodges and jumps. His ability to... Superman is fixable too, because that right there, they just constantly use his fly. And you don't want Superman to constantly just be flying around the map. See? Because it causes it decay way too fast. People think this is fun to do over and over and over.
Not bad.
See, and they just keep flying out. See, like that. They should make it where Superman could do that, but he has to touch ground again to do it again. And then he'll fall to his death if he fails to grapple you while doing that. Same for any of his grapples. That's all that has to do to fix that issue.
Watch your head. Clear the way.
Prevent that spam already.
Was a mistake. Just breathe. Yeah. Incoming. Yeah.
Match point. Blue team.
One more time.
And that's how you can fix Superman. Quite easy. Sorry, I was had to focus on my game. But it's like some of these fixes are simple, and yes, the player base may know how to, like me, know how to do what I just said would be an easy fix. In general, for the character that they seem to love spamming so much, this single move. So it's like, oh look, I get to fly forward and grab you repeatedly. Well, if you made it where you fly forward, but you better touch the ground again before you can do that again, or you'll plummet to your death. Now stop that real fucking fast.
Fine, but don't say I didn't warn you. Isn't that something?
Also, you don't want your updates to be too big, like Overwatch 2's update, 22 gigs. I don't have the fucking internet speed for that garbage. It takes me 24 hours to goddamn update 2 gigs alone. Most of your player base is not going to have the privileged strong internet. Most of us will actually have subpar to bullshit internet because the companies are assholes who like to throttle you for shits and giggles because that's what gets them off.
Prepare yourself.
So you have to take that into account when making a game. Like, well, the player base that we have, mostly since it's a free game, mostly be underprivileged to middle class or lower people who have internet but ain't gonna be very good internet. But also, you don't need to constantly patch.
abomination.
See, right there. Superman would have fell to his death otherwise. If he had the force to make that.
Sorry about this.
Snipe. Snipe.
Victory!
See? I could beat these guys without needing to use the spam moves. Anyone can do it. I'm average of the player.
Not bad,
So,
Roderick.
I think.
Not bad.
I think most people probably think I'm above average, but not how I feel when I play my video games. It doesn't feel like I'm average. Since I usually only get 50% of the time wins and loss ratio, so I can't be above it. If I'm making exactly 50 wins and 50 losses, I'm not exactly #1 in the world bullshit. I'm just
Choose
somewhere in
your
the middle.
character.
And I could see it clear as day. This game could rival Smash Brothers. This game could be the next big thing like Overwatch was in 2016. But they can't completely listen to competitive. They can't completely listen to their player base. The player base may be right and they can look into it, but you shouldn't just dive off a cliff and immediately just trust what they're saying. That's stupid. You should look into it and think, okay, maybe if we tweak it like this, it might make it a little better and easier on everyone. It might not. It might make it 100 times fucking worse. They're right about the hitboxes and they were right about the servers. And some characters were really powerful, but after the hitbox change, it did change a huge difference. So you kind of need to do your what you need, what
Prepare
Multiverse
yourself.
actually.
Okay, Doc. You got me fair and square.
Couple of times.
Swing, bada. Never trust a clown in a pig pig. Or a pig in a clown wig for that matter.
Match point. Red team.
Okay, who's the creep that did that?
Jeez, Bugs, you died 3 of the 4 times, really? Bugs is actually really easy to play. I don't know why my Bugs decided to jerk off while he was doing that, but whatever.
Play again. Let's
Because a
go.
single rocket does like 50 damage. Or close to that. It's kind of
Choose
ridiculous.
your character.
Let's get sloppy.
Because Multiverse has to stay in its own little bubble without having to have the real world affect it in a way that would negatively impact the game. Which is mostly, do not listen to anything mainstream. Ignore anything unless you put out, Multiverse needs to put out its own polling, and ignore all other polling outside that's like, no, this is a bad thing. And then it's like, Multiverse will be like, is it one of our polls? No, then we'll ignore it. Because they don't need to listen to polls outside of their own, really. Of course, they could put out polls asking the question that people are asking, like, what character would you like to see next? What do you think? Who do you think is strong right now? They can ask that and take it into account as far as it goes right now. And just look into the character and go,
Prepare yourself.
it's like, yeah, I guess we can tweak it a little, but other than that, not much. Because some characters are going to dominate till new characters come out that completely counter them, or some player just decides that one works better.
Hope one of those gizmos makes fresh diapers, you old fart. Here's the one Hey, science time! Clock!
The trick trick in the book. Really, you don't say. Not bad. High alert over here. This guy gets it.
Gonna be seeing those stupid beasties in my
You
dreams.
know nothing matters. The universe is yours. It's not all bad, though.
Because anything that seems to become a meta kills a game quick. Because no one wants to play a stupid meta. It's boring to be like everybody else, doing the same shit. It's goats all over again. What? How did that hit me? I was in mid-rocket flight. That has hyper armor.
Like out for a rebuttal?
Damn.
Defeat.
But yeah, if players are relying only on one thing on a character, you're gonna have to tell them either you knock that off or we take it away from you.
All the musics in the world.
It's like you better get good at actually playing the game instead of
Toasty!
being a bunch of spamming NPCs. If we want bots, we put bots in our game. We expect at least average or subpar players, and subpar players can press other buttons.
Choose your character.
You spammers aren't even skilled enough to be considered easy mode on a bot. Because I've seen hundreds of games are great, fun, mechanically good, and the fucking spammers drove everyone off, and they're like, why does the game suck? I don't know, maybe because all the people are spamming like little tiny 1-inch dicks. And they're wondering why there's no one to play. It's because you drove them all off, you fucking dickheads. Spammers are the equivalency of the guy sitting in the car going, hey, I'm good, while poking one button. And then you're just sitting there in the back of his head with a sledgehammer getting ready to swing and watch his brain splatter all over the screen. And be like, that's one less problem solved. Games die to spammers. And hackers. And cheaters. That's the fact.
Choose your character.
Cheaters and hackers are number one. Spammers are like third place. Hell, spammers can't even be the best at ruining shit because they're not even good enough to ruining shit too. It's kind of funny in that way. Because you can, beat a spammer by just, countering their spam, but sometimes the spammers get lucky. And it just pisses you off. Because attack decay doesn't seem to be working sometimes, and it still does the same amount of knockback, and it does the same. I mean, attack decay should be something so punishable that if you see attack decay, you can literally wring the player's neck and end their character right then and there. Like, it should do 0 damage, no knockback when attack decay happens. Just letting you stand there as it whiffs. And then you could just charge shot them while they're standing there going, what? Why can I do no damage and not get knocked back? Attack decay should be that strong. And you'll be like, yeah, die bitch. As you hit them really hard with a full charge attack. Because the attack decayed so bad, it'll do nothing. Literally 0 damage, no knockback whatsoever. It's just, the animation does nothing. And you just wasted anything chance you had of winning. As they do a full-on attack on you.
Yeah, that's right. I agree with your look of horrified realization.
We're not asking for, like, god-tier competitive players. We're asking for legitimate, just normal gamers.
Time to pull the plug. It's called a deterrent.
Because losing to a spam makes the game feel like you shouldn't be playing at all. It's like, nah, there's no point.
Wow, that's friggin' cool, you know?
Match point. Red team.
Because it's ridiculous.
Defeat.
I mean, no one in Multiverse wants to hear this, but you will burn your company out. Everyone you're going to be hiring will be burnt out. You may have a set plan right now that works, but what happens when you start to run low real quick? I mean, you're literally burning through all your content. Within a year, you're going to burn through more than half your content. Within a year! Are you not is Multiverse not supposed to last longer than a year or
Choose your
two?
character.
Because the amount of characters you're going to be throwing onto this game every 2 weeks in 365 days, you're going to have over a fucking 100 characters. Or close to that. Like, that maybe 2 characters per month? Maybe 1? That's a lot of characters. And balancing that would be a bitch. And that's not funny. That's a dead game real quick. I thought Multiverse would want to last longer than less than 5 years before they burn out of content, like characters, new characters and maps and skins. You can pump those things out like they're goddamn AI generated. That would not be a problem. But the way I'm seeing this now, this is not going to end well at all. You will have issues real quick within a year or two. Unless you think drastically how to change it before then.
Are all those gadgets compensating for something, Rick?
Yeah, whatever.
It's all there, clown.
I should not be sending him fly with this kind of decay.
Take that portal gun where the sun don't shine.
Match point. Blue team.
Seeing those stupid beasties in my dreams.
See, because Harley's become a predictable bitch. Because everyone just keeps doing the same thing over and over with her. So she can do so much more. How did he
Match
get me?
point. Red team. Victory!
When Rick is very well designed, Rick doesn't need a passive. Rick is a compliment to the developers who knew that since he has so many different ways to handle a situation, you don't have to repeat or get attack decay with Rick. Harley, everyone uses the same move set over and over and over out of her 20 move sets. For some reason, they only stick into one. And that's not good. That's a problem.
Choose your
No amount
character.
of patches or buffs or nerfs will ever fix that. Maybe attack decay being really, really strong.
A girl has no name.
Because I feel like this game is great, but it will die very rapidly if they don't fix the spam problem. Because I see compilations now on YouTube and TikTok of people just spamming like little bitches, and people are making fun of the spammers. They're literally doing counts like 1 spam, 2 spam, 3 spam, 4 spam. Some of them go up to 100. And then they kill the guy, but it's like, damn, that sucks. That's not fun to play. That's disgusting in every way.
Prepare yourself.
But the attack decay says attack decay, but it's like you're still getting the same knockback. You're doing a little less damage, but not. It should be complete negation of the move. Attack decay should be like it goes through, but does no damage or knockback whatsoever. And be like, well, you just stand there and look like an idiot, as I deck you across the face for that.
Ooh, you have a liquid name too? Oh, we're gonna be besties!
I know it makes it seem like I'm just complaining about it, but I am being legitimately trying to help. Of what I've seen over my 35 years of gaming. I've seen this happen way too much.
Not today.
And Finn can be fixed. If he does his up backpack, he can't do it again until he hits the ground again. Preventing a multiple spam of that. Because his knockback is ridiculous. Your main platform of the arena should be the focus of where everyone should be heading. They should be trying to make it back to the primary platform.
Match point. Red team.
See how they're trying to spam me with the backpack? See? That's all he's trying to do. Because even if he gets a attack decay, it'll still do the knockback. When they say it's supposed to negate, you know, it's supposed to drop down the knockback, but it's not.
Wham, bam, slam it then. I just got the win-win.
Attack decay should be a punishment for spammers.
Choose your
Not a light
character.
slap on the wrist. It should be a full, all-out, grab him by the throat and keep squeezing until you hear a snap. To spammers. Like, what, you think you're going to be able to spam and then you hear a crunch, crunch, snap as their throat gives out underneath the pressure. It's like, no, you ain't going to be spamming shit. You need to punish them. Apparently because their parents didn't do a good enough job as it was. So you have to do it the hard way. Granted, if the spammers leave the game, you'll lose 0.2% of the player base. Not a big deal, really. Some people do spam because they're bored, but then you don't need to play anyways because you're bored. Why are you playing? That's like saying, hey, I'm bored. Why don't I just down a whole box of donuts, 5 jugs of milk, and 3 2 liters of soda because I'm bored? It's like, that's not good for you. Go do the dishes. Go wash your counters. Vacuum your house. Clean your room. Go outside to mow the lawn. Go do something productive if you're bored. As a kid, if I would never say the words, I'm bored. Because damn well, my grandpa would be like, oh really? Pick me up by the back of my shirt and go, here you go. Stop power washing the house. It needs to be done. Go ahead. Do it. You're bored after all. I was actually taught, you don't say the word, I'm bored. You say the word I'm bored, they'll find you something to do. Though I did get, you know, get something for doing it. They're like, here, $5 for doing that. So it's not like I didn't have anything. It was just a thing to tell you, if you're going to say you're bored, we'll be happy to give you something to do. Because hate to tell you, not everyone's gonna play like the pros or the competitive scene. It's the actual opposite.
Hold still.
Chill out, Bugs.
And you should put a timer on the ice breath.
Time to cut loose. That's what mistake.
That's why I think everyone, when they watch me play my games, they think I'm good. I'm not. I'm just an average, everyday, okay player. Yeah, I used to play competitive arcade days. Those are back in the arcade days when you actually had to be there to do a tournament.
Careful. Not today.
Match point. Red team.
Nice shot. I won't let that happen again.
Your instinct
Continue.
from doing that. Granted, no one's really gonna tell Multiverse this stuff or anything. Granted, I don't do Twitter. Even though Elon Musk is gonna buy Twitter, which would he probably clean shit up on that platform. At first, after he drains the septic tank, pulls it out of the ground, and replaces it with a nice tree. With some fruit to bear, which we probably wouldn't see be useful for another 10 years. But still, it's like, Twitter is a fucking cesspool. And I don't know why Multiverse is using Twitter over just having their own website with all their information on it and their patches and what they're gonna do on their own website with their very own polls and stuff that players can take after you sign up with an account and you're only allowed one per player, you know, that sort of thing. That way they can get accurate polling of how the state of their game. Again, Multiverse will never hear this stuff. And the sad part is, when I'm right, bad things happen. Whenever I'm right. When I'm right, people die. When I'm right, shit hits the fan.
No, 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 no! Whoa, that was cool. No, 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 no!
Match point. Blue team.
Real scared. High alert over here.
because I've been playing all these characters, right? I give them to level 15 to give them a fair shake to see if people's bitching about them being OP and whatnot or
Okay.
too weak is actually from merit. I'm looking at the perspective of an average gamer, someone in the middle of the lane, middle ground, not good, not bad.
Choose your character.
And what I find is Tom and Jerry's perfectly fine. They doesn't need to be buffed, really. Every character seems to be just fine almost, other than Garnet probably should be labeled as a tank. And Bugs Bunny needs to not have his rocket give him his jumps or dodges back. Superman's flight should, at the end of his flight, he would have to fall until he hits a piece of platform that's actually part of the game before he can go back onto his flight again. As well as his up grab or his other grapples. His grapples should have a time where he could do it, but he has to retouch the ground again before he could do it again. Because Superman's way stronger than people gave it credit for, but they just abuse the one move over and over. Therefore, you're not getting a fair shake with the character.
Like, man, let's see what
You're getting a
trying to make
half-assed
me.
version.
Call the deterrent.
I've been saying Tactic has been needing to be buffed since the very beginning of the game.
Trick trick in the book. Call the deterrent. Rebuttal. How awesome is that?
Wonder Woman's not OP. Just because a character wins a tournament could be the player is the one that's succeeding.
Match point. Blue team.
Because one tricks do exist.
Scientific violence.
Don't worry, pop that.
Victory.
But yes, most characters will need to be rebalanced after they've been entered into the game because you don't know how well they're going to work with the other characters either.
Was it my best work? I don't know.
The reason I left a lot of games that constantly did updates, like Fortnite, fucking terrible to how they constantly updated. I wouldn't be able to download the update before another update showed up, so the game was unplayable to
Choose
me.
your character.
That's how they lost me as a player. Not only that, they ripped off everything else they ever did. Doesn't help that they stole like 99.9% of everything in Fortnite was stolen or given to them as a way to, bleh. Crossover the whole Goku shit, and it's like, oh god, what cringe. That whole game was just cringy to me. Played it for a week and like, this is shit. But plus the constant updates. I really do not like games that are constantly updating. Me and like 78% of the players in the world. We don't like that sort of shit, especially when the downloads are so big and hefty, and we do not have good internet. People don't understand that, like, overwhelmingly 60+% of your player base is gonna have shit-ass internet. You're literally gonna scrape the bottom of the barrel for your player base that can actually keep up with the updates. And the ones who can't, well, they'll probably just delete the game, and then your player base will look like it's dropping to death. But it's because you're over updating. And yes, over updating is a thing.
Blade against Fang.
Can't stop me.
Hell, I think that Shaggy's a charge attack that people keep relying on, like that. After the third time, if someone tries to do the charge attack, the next attack he does with it will do no damage. They shouldn't have to rely on that. Because it's not good. You're not a good player if that's what you rely on 90% of the time to play him.
Stop making that mistake again.
Hope you kept those claws sharp.
Match point. Red team. Match point. Blue team.
Not bad. Let's try that.
Yeah, a Shaggy that has to rely on his charges aren't good.
My sisters
Hi,
and I were
Paxton.
born and raised for war.
Hi, Paxton. If you're a Shaggy player who just runs away to charge, you're not a good player. You're below average.
Disgusting spitting
Hell, you're
Continue.
below an
Let's
AI
go.
bot on easy. Because even the AI bot doesn't do it that much. If you want to be taken seriously as a
Choose your
gamer
character.
in any game, you're going to have to literally get good at a character without relying on their gimmick or meta. You're going to have to. Or else people are going to look down on you like, it's just another one of those players. Not really a player, because real players know other buttons and other movesets and other skill sets. It's not fun. And if it's not fun, people stop playing. People stop playing, you lose your game. And then you can't do that shit anymore. And then you'd be wondering like, oh, that game was fun, why can't I do it? You killed it! The players also have to be responsible for themselves not being spammers, or cheaters, or hackers. Multiverse, I don't think gives a two shits if you data mine the information out of the game going, oh, this could be what the next characters are. It's like, okay, big whoop. I don't see the big deal about that. It's like, okay, we know what's going to be in the game.
Prepare
We don't know when it's going to be out, though, and what order, or what they're all going to do, or how they're going to work together with each other. You just telling us this shit is like, okay, I guess I'll just wait, like we were going to do anyways? Your point being what? You data miners are just like, it's like a person who reads a book and goes, oh, this is all the stuff in the book. It's like,
Touch me, and there's no
why?
afterlife. Everything just goes black.
Rick is racist because he tries to kill the black guy. See, look how much damage that Shaggy did. See, right there, my Taz player. Already bored of the game because of that bullshit.
Match point. Red team.
You're not making the game fun. Thanks. Thanks a lot. That Shaggy player right there just ruined the game. That player will probably never return or have a bad taste in his mouth now. Thanks to that bullshit. Brutal thing to happen to a player if they ever try to pull the bullshit. It must be a punishment so heinous that you will end their game permanently and ban them for all eternity. And then find them where they live and bury them in the ground and run them over with a steamroller while they're screaming. Like, all out throttle those players. Spammers aren't human. They're not real players. They're not real gamers, and they don't need to be tailored to. They need to be punished in the worst way possible.
Prepare yourself.
Agonizing, painful death of ever touching another game again until they learn for 5 fucking seconds of their one brain cell, poke another fucking button, you loser.
Like John.
See how he has attack decay, but yet he's still knocking me around? That should not be a thing. Attack decay should completely tell players you're doing wrong, you're not playing right. You're just being a terrible gamer, and you can't even be called that.
Point. Red team.
Come on, Steven. The gem's fucking better than that.
Hell, attack decay should add damage to the player who's doing it. Instead of them taking damage, you start taking damage. Force them to get good at the game. Because if they're gonna spam, they don't need to play at all. Because I'm not having fun when I see spamming and attack decay shows up and I know they're spamming. It's not fun because attack decay is not working.
Not bad, Drunk Rick. Not bad.
I thought they were supposed to do less damage, right? I thought the attack decay was to get them to stop doing it, but you're not punishing them. It just
Okay.
shows up and they're like, oh, you're doing it. It's like, no, I want you to take them by the throat and crush the windpipe. I want to see actual punishment
Choose
for
your
spammers.
character.
Real punishment. Not the half-baked bullshit wannabe punishment you think you're giving them. Technically, it's a great idea, but you've got to go through with it. You got to punish them. If you don't, nothing's going to change. And that will hurt your game. It's already hurting your game.
Prepare yourself.
And you can tell by looking at the player base that's gone down so fast. It's not because the content's not coming out fast enough. Believe me, there's plenty of fucking content coming out fast enough. It's a goddamn spam does kill games.
Here's something that's never happened before.
Rick don't know me very well, do he?
Now that you're getting your servers all handled up, you can start focusing on the other stuff.
Fine. Everything is fine. Time for plan B.
Not bad. Going old man.
Whoa. No need to freak out.
Match point. Red team.
This pickle is hot sour.
See how LeBron right there just spammed the same thing over and over and over and over? Your Tacticade did nothing. It slightly dropped the damage by 1. That's not enough. It has to be more strict. When I mean more strict, I mean you better fucking if the people, you better make sure that you will ban their accounts at the rate they're going. I want to see an actual punishment.
Choose your character.
Because that spam is getting ridiculous. I like spam as a food, not a fucking video game concept. Yeah, you have 20 million players. You've already been dropped down by more than half. Your game is gonna die. In 2 years or more. And you can pump all the content you want out. Not gonna save it. All the content in the world will not save a game if the game can't get to the primary problem of it. Now,
Leave
can
one
it?
wolf alive and the sheep are never safe.
This game can be really, really great, but they gotta think things through. I'm only thinking of like, I'm only have this experience of 35 years of gaming. That's where I know most of the stuff that would actually benefit the game. You don't have to do it if you don't want to, but it ain't gonna have a very long life. These are just some ideas I know that have worked. And helped greatly.
Prepare yourself.
And the things I've seen outright kill a game. Politics kills a game outright. Before it's even born, you aborted the game if you play politics with it. That game is DOA before it even gets started. It was aborted. Not making sure you're ready when you first come out.
Think about your family. I have an angle.
Some attack decay seems to be fine, but when you get attack decay times 50, or times 10, times 5, it's like, come on. It's not actually doing anything, you're still doing the same thing, over and over. And people figured that out, your attack decay is just all talk. Because I've been seeing it. Like, someone will be doing attack decay over and over and over, and they're still getting hit for the same amount of damage and knockback. Why is that? I thought the attack decay was a punishment. But it's not punishing, it's barely doing shit.
Choose your character.
A wolf of House Stark is not afraid.
Because I've been watching tons of games, and Attack Decay pops up a lot. But it seems the more Attack Decay pops up, the more it doesn't do anything. You need it to diminish to the point it does nothing. You need it to actually be a punishment. That's a big problem within this game. One of the big problems. Not to burn yourselves out or your devs with overworking them, trying to get all this stuff out quickly every 2 weeks. You've got to be a workaholic or a nut job to think that's a good idea. Like, what are you thinking? Are you going to work yourselves to death or work the game into the ground within 2 years? Because you will run out. Granted, there are thousands of characters that you can work with here and go with a lot of memes and whatnot. Hell, you can add Mr. Bean to this game. But if you don't get the time, got the time to make the model, create the kit, and make sure everything's all balanced before those 2 weeks are up, that's going to be a lot of reworking that people are going to be like, I can't do anything, this character's too POP, or this character's not balanced enough, and these other characters that interact with this character is no longer balanced. Now you have to redo all the fucking characters. It's a problem. You need to give yourself some breathing room. I commend you for every 2 weeks. Commendable. Great. But I feel like you are going to cause yourself more harm than good. Because we've all seen what happens to Overwatch. Overwatch 2 is a mess right now. It's going to be an unbalanced boogie fucking mess for a good year or two, and we all know it. Hell, you sit in a queue for 3 hours to get into the game to play one game that might crash and put you in a queue for another 3 hours. Because the dumbasses didn't prepare their servers before then.
What's new?
Our stories aren't over yet.
I mean, you could always fix Bugs Bunny's issues by also making him a lighter weight. I'm still waiting for my dagger.
Match point. Red team. Defeat.
Because this game could get out of control really fast if they keep what they're gonna do, what they're doing.
Continue? Let's go!
I know people aren't gonna be happy with what I'm saying, but I don't really give two shits. I'm actually trying to help here. I've actually had my complaints, but also I've told you how good ways to fix it.
Choose your
That's very
character.
easy to fix, how to fix it, and multiple ways of doing so. I'm not just being like, oh, this is bad, 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 bad. No, it's like, this is bad, what can go wrong and how you can fix it. And if you don't want to fix it that way, there's another way, right, doing it this way. And it's like, there's a lot going on here that may not be beneficial if this company, this game wants longevity. Granted, I can see this game going for 10 to 15 years before they're like, okay, it's done, completed, we're not adding any more but skins and maps. Because they've gotten all the characters out of the way. But if they keep pushing out the way they are, there is going to be no more new characters really fast before this game's 5 years old. You can make a roster of 200 characters in this game. That is not going to be a good thing. You're going to have to pick and choose what characters you want in. Because there's only a set limit that a game can handle before it becomes completely unplayable.
Prepare yourself.
I guess they can put a whole bunch of characters and then have characters out of rotation and into rotation, but how do you pick then that way? It's like, oh, we have over 400 characters. 250 will be blocked this season.
I am here for everyone who needs me. Not the will of the gods. I'm ready for more.
Match point. Red team.
I'm out of here. Look up.
Damn it.
Defeat.
Man, the Iron Giant couldn't keep alive long enough for me to kill bugs. That tactic, hey man, that's a bitch. Wonder Woman is not
Trying
OP,
to dream of a better
like,
world
at all.
doesn't end here.
Just because someone won it with a Wonder Woman won the tournament doesn't mean it's an OP character, just because people are stupid. And they don't understand it was the player, not the character,
Choose
that
your
won that match.
character.
It's almost like their brains don't work.
A wolf of House Stark is not afraid.
And Taz ain't overpowered either. Yeah, he uses a spam spin, and that's disgusting. But you can always bait him out, and he has an 8-second cooldown after he does his spinny thing for him to get the full spin back. That's 8 seconds you can run in and beat the shit out of him. Before he gets it back, run away, dodge him until he uses it up, and get him again. I know it's not as easy as it sounds. Harley Quinn, you can cancel most of her shit out just by a single perk. The, tunelicity, or is it the, shield with the deflection on it? I believe it's the shield with the deflection on it. Well, anyways, that's it for my stream. That's just some helpful ways. I've thought of that can help. Because if you keep trying to balance the game around competitive, these perks are going to become a problem after like the 40th character added. Because then you won't be able to balance the characters to the other characters, and the perks will get in the way as well. You gotta trust your player base to handle things for you too. That we will play right, not play like a bunch of bots or NPCs. You gotta trust in the player base. If you punish the spammers and the spammers leave, the game will improve greatly. Because they will not want to play a game where they can't do shit because their spam ain't funny no more. Spam was never funny to begin with. I just hate spam. I will die on that hill. I will massacre and genocide every spammer in existence and die on that hill myself. And I'll die shortly after because I know I did a good thing. But for you to balance... How many characters you have already? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 18, 19, 20. You already have 20 characters, right? Oh wait, no you don't. Do you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, you have 20 characters already. And you're already having difficulty in some aspects of the game already when it comes to your creating it. When it comes to characters and whatnot, I noticed. And the spam is killing your game horribly. It's fucking stranglehold your game. Until you fix that, you ain't not gonna see any really overwhelming progress. Even when you add in your shop and people start playing with Cleamium and buying all the fancy shit, and most people will be like, "Oh, I bought everything, no point. I'll just spam my ass off." It's like, why encourage that? You can't allow spam to be a thing in this game. For one, your balancing is going to get really, really hard and bad the more characters you add. You can listen to players' complaints and take it into account and look into it, but don't just jump the gun because some people bitch. And stay the fuck away from politics of any kind. Do not show support for anything. Do not show no support for something. Just stay out of it, saying it's none of our business. We are a gaming company. We make a game. That's it. We don't stand for anything. We don't speak on anything. Here's a video game. That's all there is to it. Would you like to buy this Gizmo skin? Because anytime you do anything political with a video game, it dies. It's like a mother that's gonna have a baby, and someone decides to walk up and plug her in the head with a bullet and shotgun the baby in her stomach, just to double tap and make sure. And that was your game. It will just kill it. Stay the fuck away from politics. That's why the Velma thing backfired on this game pretty bad. Players did leave because it was bullshit to do in the first place, taking away the Velma's sheriff card. That was stupid. Damn right, just completely stupid, because right now the black community's begging for cops to come help them, but as they're burying their babies and children in mass numbers. Because no one's coming to help them anymore, because BLM burnt down their neighborhoods, stole from them, and bitched and moaned, and nothing got done. Now, BLM killed more black people than the cops did that year. Congratulations, BLM. Not to mention they money laundered and stole tons of the charity money for themselves so they can buy nice houses. It was a scam. This is why you don't play politics in video games. You stay away from that shit. It's far, far away. But what I know, just 35 years of gaming experience in every genre of game that exists, RPGs, JRPGs, MMORPGs, FPSs, third-person shooters, 2D platforms. I'm not the only one that has this experience either. I'm not the foremost knowledge of it, but I do know what I'm talking about it a little bit. I'm not completely stupid. I've seen so many games come and go. And I've seen the biggest triggers of killing games. And I know for a fact players would not mind waiting for content if it's solid when it comes out. I, as a kid, would wait 7 years! 7 years! For a VHS tape to come out to watch a movie! I know patience nowadays is thin to non-existent, but I bet you anything if you wanted a good play falling apart like it already starting to. I see the cracks in the foundation already appearing. People are making careers out of this game and trying to follow it to make a career out of it. It ain't gonna end well for them or you if you keep burning the candle with a flamethrower in a volcano. This is a good game. It's a solid game. I don't want to see it die. And I sure the hell don't want to see it turn into whatever the fuck Overwatch has become. So much potential in this game. A ridiculous amount of potential. And you can't even scratch the surface. Because the lid is being held down by terrible wannabe gamers and a bunch of assholes on Twitter who don't even play your shit or give a fuck if your game went under. They just like the chaos and like watching the world burn. Your player first games, right? Think about that. Player first. You want to take care of your players, not the spammers. You want to take care of your players, not the people on fucking Twitter. You want to take care of your players, not what's fucking social justice right now, or what's in the politics stream, or if someone bitches about a character who has a move that's supposed to be what the character did in the TV series, and they bitch because the BLM killed more black people. And it's 90% white! BLM doesn't stand for black people. BLM murder black people and use them as a shield to make money. Because Velma called the cop sheriff on a LeBron character that's a shit character. I don't even know why he's in the game. If you wanted to put Space Jam in there, why didn't you use Michael Jordan? Someone who's more iconic and not have a negative connotation to him. Like Lame Brain does. Yeah, fuck, what am I talking about? They're not gonna listen at all anyways. And shit, if I'm right, the game's gonna die within 5 years. It'll become an unbalanced, terrible mess, and social justice will run rampant. People on Twitter will be screaming, the community will burn itself to the ground. And devs will be overworked, and everyone will be screaming constantly. It'll fall apart rather quick. God, I hope I'm not right. But with my track record being overly right, it sucks. I hate it. I hope you prove me wrong. I really do. I beg you to prove me wrong. Anyways, I'm gonna end the stream now. Fun game, but I don't see where this is gonna be going if shit doesn't change real fast.